Hello and welcome to Bottom Line. Well, if the turnout in the BTC polls, the first phase of BTC polls is any indication, we might be in for an exciting result day on the 12th of December. As per estimates right now, around 75% turnout voting was registered in the 21 constituencies of Buxa and Udalguri districts which went to polls today. However, we are still awaiting the exact official figures and we will not be surprised if it touches the 80% mark. But again, we have to wait for the official figures to make any comments on that. But what we have to take note of is that it has been a hectic campaigning in the run-up to the polls, as we have seen in the last few days, especially in Udalguri and Buxa. And as with polling for the first phase coming to an end today, almost all the parties were confident, be it the BJP, who had the mascot, the top leader Himanta Biswa Sharma campaigning all along, the face of the party in the Boro heartland. UPPL is again confident. Pramod Boro expects to be the next CEM, as many are saying. And also confident viewers is Hagrama Mohilari, the man who is probably facing a lot of odds at this moment, but again it's too early to comment on things. So what does the first phase of polling, which has registered definitely a sizable turnout, imply? What is in store? We still have a crucial second round left, but again the good turnout, is that any indication of things? Is that an indication of change? But again, it's difficult to say because it's after a long time that the polls are being held. We'll discuss all these issues, and for this I'm being joined in the studios in Guwahati by Janki Goswami, Assam BJP spokesperson, Assam BJP leader. Welcome, ma'am, to Bottom Line. Also in the studios of Guwahati we have Mr. Dheeraj Borkatoki, the HOD Political Science, Royal Global University. Of course, Mr. Borkatoki has also been very closely following the developments relating to the BTC polls. From the Boro heartland, from Kokrajhar, I'm being joined by Dr. Deepak Basumatari, Assistant Professor, Borland University. A very warm welcome, sir. We will also be joined shortly by senior journalist Preetam Brahma Chaudhary, who will also be joining us from Kokrajhar. We'll also try and connect with leaders from AIUDF and Congress over the phone. So first, if I can go to Ms. Janki Goswami in the studio as well. The BJP has been campaigning extremely hard in the BTR, something that was probably not expected before the polls, but then it is there. And does the party expect that kind of returns in BTR? Many are still skeptic about it. That's why the question.
See, every election is big for us, and we try to put in our best efforts in every election. And the BTR election is also no exception to this rule. Yes, of course, see, BJP has built deep inroads in the BTR area since last few years, and we have also built up a strong organizational force, and we have many karyakartas spanning across these 4 districts of BTR. The karyakartas have been working really hard in the last few years, and they were very keen that BJP should, and they have a belief also that BJP should fight election on its own, and they also have a firm belief that BJP will come out victorious. So there is definitely no iota of doubt that there is going to be a change in the BTR this time, and the BJP is definitely going to gain ground.
Absolutely. Dheeraj Borkatoki, well, the run-up to the polls has been exciting, to say the least. There was a lot of action. We have seen how exciting the campaigning has been. There has been allegations and counter-allegations, and Hagrama Mohilari is clearly at the receiving end, but that does not mean that he has given up. But again, this is a different polls, and a lot at stake for everyone in the fray, isn't it?
Nabarun, if I may start, I will start by saying that the major point in this particular election has been we have to go back to the signing of the BTR, the accord. You see, BJP had its plans long time back. BJP started the game plan way before anyone else in the fray. And we have to understand that the the BTR promises many things. The new accord that was signed with all the different factions of the Boro leaders, especially the NDFB faction and the APSU faction, it promised many things. And one has to understand that BJP played a very important card out here by immediately jumping into the fray after the signing of the accord. And well, what Madam had just said, that change, as we followed the elections today, the whole day we were following the elections in the two constituencies, we could see that people were looking for some kind of porivartan. And they were saying that we want peace. And hence, they find an alternative. And the alternative today, of course, the alternative was always there, but it was difficult to uproot or rather to remove BPF. But today, there is a massive inroad which has been made by BJP into the BTR region. And one has to look into the fact that never in the history of the BTC elections, we have seen such hectic campaigning by the BJP especially. We have never seen the leaders of BJP going to BTC in the 2015 or the elections prior to that. But if we look into this election, we have to understand the role played by the top leaders of BJP. Himanta Biswa Sharma has been literally, he has done around 60 rallies over the last 30 to 35 days, which is a massive thing. And here we need to understand that there is a social change which is going to happen, because BJP has literally made inroads into the BTC region way before any other political parties expected. And today it is at a slight advantage. If we look at the rallies conducted by BJP and the UPPL, these two players are going to call the shots at the end of the election. But however, let me clarify that BPF cannot be ruled out. BPF still has a very important role to play.
Dr. Deepak Basumatari, what is your assessment of things? Of course, we have had a hectic campaign trail, unprecedented campaigning, a lot of focus on the BTC polls. It was expected, but again, probably not at this scale, not at this level. The focus of the entire state, entire region right now is on the BTC. Unprecedented. Do you think this augurs well for the area, for the region, irrespective of whoever makes the cut?
Yeah, I'm very happy that after a very long time, I must say after independence of India, this is for the first time that this region is getting such a lot of importance. Say 10 or 20 years ago, no leader would, even a regional leader would visit this place. It was on the periphery of the political, say, consciousness. Now we find that this BTR region or Bodoland region has come to the center after a long time. And I think it augurs well because everyone's eyes is on this particular region. Irrespective of who comes to power, I think it augurs well for the people of this region.
Absolutely. And what is your assessment of the things right now? Everyone seems to be talking of porivartan or change, but are we reading too much into things?
What we see here, I am here at the I should say, and what I see or hear from around the people here is that they are looking for some kind of a change, not necessarily A or Z party, but they are looking for some alternative, I must say, because for the last 17 years there have been some what is called same party have been in power, but there was no viable alternative. Even though we had some parties like Congress participating in the election, but it was not full-hearted, say, campaign. Or BJP was not there at all in 2015 or prior to that. But this time we see that BJP, then national parties like BJP, even we have Congress and we have AIDF, putting all their men and resources to fight these elections. And we have, on the other hand, also a new entrant on this political scene, UPPL. led by Sri Pramod Boru. And he has been able to, what I see is that he has been able to connect with the masses, especially with the issue of what is called bread and butter issues that he has been raising. And another pertinent question that he has already been raising in every rallies is the question of corruption by the ruling dispensation. So I think with this bread and butter issues and the question of, say, good governance, he has been able to connect with the grassroots, with the masses. And I hope, I think there will be some changes in the political scenario after the elections here.
Hope for changes in the political scenario. So that's the wave probably in the Boro heartland. We'll be joined shortly by journalist Preetam Brahmachaudhary. Janki Goswami, we all know there's still a lot at stake. Even though the BJP has been on a hectic campaign trail, there is still a lot at stake for the party because you have your top leader campaigning on it. In the entire region for the last 1 month, around 60 rallies in a span of 30 days. That's a whooping figure. And of course, it has been Hagrama bashing throughout. There are no two ways about it. Is the BJP, despite everything, keeping its options open in as far as the UPPL is concerned? Is there a strong indication, despite the party saying that it is contesting alone, confident of forming the council?
We have already fielded our candidate for 26 out of the 40 BTC seats, and our respected leaders have also been telling that we will also support the independent candidates where we have not fielded our own candidate. Now, if you talk about an alliance with the UPPL or any other party for that matter, it's very difficult to say now because it's too early to comment. As of now, we are confident that we are going to have a majority on every seat. We are going to come out victorious. But yes, we will definitely, it is, as I said, it's early to comment, but definitely the post-poll alliance, post-poll scenario will also tell us a lot of things. So, there is nothing indicative as of now. But yes, we will wait and watch till then what happens.
For instance, only today, the Assam Health Minister, top BJP leader, has urged voters not to be emotional while as they head to the second phase of polling, and have urged them not to vote specifically for the BPF, Congress, AIODF, UPPL somehow not mentioned there. We assume that.
No, see, we have been very open even in our campaign rallies about we have been very openly talking about the BPF and its corruption issues. Yes, BPF had a lot of corruption issues. They are losing ground on certain very issues of corruption. There are issues of non-performance. So they are already losing ground, and we are very open about it. And people there also, we have seen they are in a mood for a change. But yes, if you talk about UPPL is a new party, so it is difficult to comment. Pramod Boru has been leading the party. He was a leader of the ASU. He has a good support base. We have actually no reason to comment on UPPL. But yes, Congress and AIODF, as they are also there. We have always been again openly talking about their unholy alliance as well. But I don't think Congress AIODF will make any change in the battle scenario there. It is going to be BJP which will play a major role. Yes, UPPL is there, the BPF is there. But yes, as I said, we have actually no reason to comment anything about the UPPL, it being a new party, and they are running into the fray this time. So, but then yes, as you asked me about the post-poll scenario, I will again tell you, let's wait and watch.
Dheeraj Borkatoki, is the BJP still, as the Congress has been alleging for some time, is the BJP, despite everything, despite criticizing Hagrama, keeping both options open, both the UPPL and the BPF, despite everything? Because what we have seen is that Hagrama Mohilari has still been reluctant to criticize the BJP. BJP has called him out for his alleged corruption and misrule for the last 15 to 17 years. Mohilari, on the other hand, yes, he has shot back, but still has been a touch reluctant if we compare the way the BJP has been targeting Hagrama.
Nabarun, we have to first understand what is going on in the BTC region. You know, the BTC comes under a special provision of the Indian Constitution, which is the 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution, and there are very specific mandates, you know, through which the Bodoland Territorial Autonomous Region must be governed. Now, what has happened over the last several decades, I would say, there is a divide. There is a divide whereby the BPF, after coming to power, has very clearly created an elite of category of people who has siphoned off the concept of development. Now, BJP comes in at this point whereby it realizes that for any kind of development in the BTC region, you know, the role of BJP is very important. And here comes Himanta Biswa Sharma, and he knows to play the game well. He realizes that BPF, you know, will not be able to really counter BJP's strength this time. Why? Because people are already at the ground level. And why I am saying this is because our department in Royal Global University had conducted a survey. You know, we had gone to the ground in all the districts of BTC, and we have found that, you know, the people of BTC right now wants some kind of peace and development, which was lacking. Now, here we have to understand why BJP is hell-bent on, you know, criticizing every aspect of BPF. You know, Himanta Biswa Sharma has been outrightly going against the BPF. But very interestingly, if we look at the election rallies and speeches of Himanta Biswa Sharma, he has been very critical about the BPF leadership, especially Hagrama Mohilari, whereas Sarbananda Sonowal, the chief minister, has not been very critical about it. The reason being that, you know, BPF is still an alliance with the, you know, state government. So they still have the tacit support of the BPF. But Himanta Biswa Sharma realizes that this BTC election plays a very crucial role for 2021. The aim is not BTC elections or the council elections. The aim is ultimately the assembly elections which are going to be held in the year 2021. And
Janki Goswami, please come in here. Well, what's wrong if the BJP wants to take development to the BTC? Why is it always equated with the assembly elections there? As a ruling party, it has probably every right to go ahead, campaign and pitch in for development. After all, the BJP has played a big role in the accord, so why not?
Of course. The question of, you know, the state elections will come later. That is in the second phase. First, we have to concentrate on the BTC elections, the territorial elections, which we declared long back that this time BJP is going to fight it out alone. And he has also commented on our leaders, but I would say that our leaders are very progressive and foresighted. Our leaders, Honorable Chief Minister Shri Sarbananda Sonowal and our Finance Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma are very progressive leaders. They are pro-development leaders and they are very foresighted. They had a foresight in the beginning that this time the people of BTC want development. Why should they be bereft of development? Why should they be left behind? When that came to the limelight, that BTC somehow, the BTR, the Bodoland Territorial Region, is somehow not enjoying the fruits of development like the other regions of our state, why should BTC be left behind? That is the primary reason why we thought that we should come forward in this fray and we should hold the reins of development, because even though the people residing in the BTR region have full right to enjoy the fruits of development, they should also have developed roads, they should also have developed medical facilities, they should also have developed schools and colleges, they should also have a medical college, and that's what our election manifesto has also promised this time. And if you notice, our election manifesto is in line with the BTR accord that has been recently signed. Certain agenda of the BTR accord has been well manifested in our election manifesto of the BTC polls also as well. So, if you see the role of development when every other place in our region in Assam is experiencing the progress, the wind of change, the wind of progress, then why should BTR be left behind? And that is the primary reason why our party, BJP, thought that we should come forward and join the fray, because when there is our government at the center, there is our government at the state, if we have our government at the council also, then it will be easier for us to allot more funds for development of the region, and development is our primary agenda.
Well, I would just, I do not disagree with Madam, and I accept the fact that yes, development is the most important region. And you know what is happening is BJP realizes, see, unlike what happened in the northeastern region when we had the Mizo Accord, you know, the Congress was in power, but you had the MNF coming to it. And you know, the fruits were reaped by MNF, the AGP, when the Congress signed the Assam Accord. Today, BJP realizes that, you know, the BTR gives them an opportunity. You know, and very interestingly, the UPPL, which could have played a very important role, it will play an important role. You know, this entire COVID time had given BJP the time and space also. And it now realizes that it is one of the major players in BTC, which it could not have thought about 5 years back. So I do accept the fact that development, and if we look at the speeches of these various leaders.
But hasn't that been the case?
We want the people of, our leaders have also been reiterating the fact that we want the people of BTR to experience the benefits of the schemes that we have floated, like Arundhati, like Arunodaya, like Swayam, like the PMAY, all the other benefits that we have floated for the common people of Assam. BTR should also experience the fruits of those schemes that are available. Now, another thing, now if you look at the BTR Accord, we shouldn't, it's leaving aside the politics part, as he has mentioned, there's a huge politics in it. Leaving aside the politics part, I would not comment on that because it is not politics for us. We should see the positive side of the BTR Accord. We have been able to bring all the people of the Bodoland together for the first time. There were two accords signed earlier also, but the problems remained the same. There were certain issues which were unaddressed. This is the first time I think certain issues have been addressed, and this is the first time that the Boro language has been given the importance of having this. It's the second, the second official language of the state. So if you look at those factors, these are I think very progressive signs which indicates that we want the people of BTR to be with us. They are a part of the mainstream Assamese region, and they should walk together, and that is our primary agenda.
Also, just coming back to that, that has been the case in the entire Northeast, so to say. Probably the BJP has been all along, at least in the region, pitching for development as the main agenda, be it Arunachal to Tripura, to Assam, to even states where it has allies, the NEDA allies in PAR, and that is something which has been accepted in a way, despite there being past reservations among some states of the Northeast as far as the BJP or NDA is concerned. So probably again, we all know that the Boro heartland in terms of development has been neglected for years, and probably that is where the BJP is cashing in. Nothing much wrong with that, if you say, even if it's political,
that is where we see this,
probably nothing wrong with that.
Yes, that is where we see this scope.
It was for Hagrama Mohilari to cash in because he was in charge of the council. If he didn't, the BJP would say it's not our problem. We see our opportunity here, development. If by making development the agenda, if we can go ahead and grab our space, why not? That is what the BJP would say. Dr. Deepak Basumatari, what does the average resident of the BTR region, what are the expectations, the basic expectations from these polls?
From the recently signed accord, and what my fellow panelists have just spoken about the question of development. Yes, I totally agree with her that this place is lacking behind in terms of development. And this particular memorandum of settlement, which has not only brought peace, but has also promised a lot of development for this region. And people are looking forward for development and to participate in this process of nation building with what this memorandum of settlement that has been recently signed. Having said that, we should also say that BJP has played a very crucial role in bringing this accord into fruition. Earlier also in 2003, it was the NDA government led by Bajpayee who played a very crucial role here in signing the BTC Accord of 2003. And this time too, BJP has played a very crucial role in signing this BTR Accord, or what has been also called or dubbed as Peace Accord. And so people have a lot of expectations from this particular accord. They are looking for peace and development to partake in the development process of the nation. And as far as the convention is concerned, earlier we have this MNF accord with MNF in Mizoram, and later here in Assam we have an accord signed by ASU. And what we see here is that according to the spirit of this accord, MNF was given the opportunity to run the government after signing on the peace accord. That the same happened with ASU. A new government led by AGP was formed. They were given the opportunity to usher in a new era of peace and development. But in this case, we see that the signatories have not been outrightly given the chance to participate or to take forward the accord. And so what we see here is that a lot of entries of say national parties, regional parties here. What we see here is that we should say that if the peace accord, what has been put into writing in terms of memorandum of settlement, if this does not become successful, I think the problem is likely to recur. That's why we need to keep in mind that the accord needs to be implemented in letter and spirit. Whoever is participating in these elections or are in the race for forming the government here, they should keep in mind that this election is not just another election of BTC, but also an election for peace and development.
Election for peace and development. We are being joined over the phone by Zahirul Islam, young AIODF leader, also party spokesman. Zahirul Islam, well, the Congress, AIODF are also in the fray. What do you think are your chances? Zahirul Islam.
Hello?
Yes, I am saying the Congress, AIODF also in the fray. What are your chances? Are you even trying to win all the seats, or as some reports are saying, you are trying to give a walkover to the BPF in some of the seats? Are these true?
No. Now in BTC election, Congress AIDF alliance is a main factor in this election, and we hope that we will win the maximum seat we have given already here. So हम ये कहना चाहते हैं कि जो कांग्रेस AIDF का जो अलायंस है, इस अलायंस में हम ज्यादा से ज्यादा सीट हम जीतेंगे, और जो यहाँ पे जो गवर्नमेंट होगा, BTC गवर्नमेंट, यहाँ पे हमारा क्या बोलते हैं, हमारा कंट्रीब्यूशन यहाँ पे रहेगा। और ये आज की डेट में पक्का है कि जो BTC का जो पब्लिक है और हमारा जो मीटिंग है, इस मीटिंग में जो पब्लिक गैदरिंग है, ये देख के असम का लोगों को और BTC का लोगों को ये पक्का यकीन हो गया है कि अगला गवर्नमेंट में हमारा पक्का गवर्नमेंट शेयरिंग, पावर शेयरिंग रहेगा।
ज़ाहिरुल इस्लाम, लोगों का ये भी कहना है कि जो AIODF कांग्रेस जो आई है एक साथ BTC में, इट इज़ मोर अबाउट द असेंबली इलेक्शंस, 2021 असेंबली इलेक्शंस देन द BTC पोल्स। जो आप एक साथ आए हैं, इट इज़ मोर फोकस्ड ऑन द 2021 असेंबली पोल्स। क्या ये सही है?
डेफिनेटली हम इस अलायंस के जरिए से हम ये मैसेज भी देना चाहते हैं कि ये जो 2021 में जो असम में असेंबली इलेक्शन आ रहा है, इस इलेक्शन में हम अलायंस गवर्नमेंट हम बनाएंगे असम में और बीजेपी को हम असम से भगाएंगे, ये पक्का है। आज की
कांग्रेस
डेट
तो
में ये
आपको
तय
ले
है।
नहीं रही, कांग्रेस तो मना कर रही है कि कोई अलायंस नहीं है अभी तक। आप ही कह रहे हैं कि अलायंस है, कांग्रेस तो कह रही है कि अलायंस ही नहीं है। जस्ट डाइग्रेसिंग अ बिट।
नो सर, कांग्रेस का जो उनका कुछ दिन पहले उनका कोर कमेटी का मीटिंग हुआ था, उस मीटिंग में कांग्रेस ने रिजोल्यूशन लिया है। हमारा जो कोर कमेटी में मीटिंग हुआ है, हमारा भी रिजोल्यूशन लिया हुआ है। कांग्रेस का जो फॉर्मर प्रेसिडेंट चीफ मिनिस्टर था तरुण गोगोई जी, आज कुछ दिन पहले उनका एक्सपायर हो गया है, देहांत हो गया है। वो भी अलायंस के बारे में खुल के बताया है। आज की डेट में हमारा पार्टी प्रेसिडेंट के साथ कांग्रेस का पार्टी प्रेसिडेंट एक ही हेलीकॉप्टर में हम बीटीसी का कैंपेन कर रहे हैं और अलायंस का जो भी बातें है, ये बातें चल रहा है। और ये तो आज की डेट में ये क्लियर है कि 2021 में अलायंस में गवर्नमेंट होगा असम में। बीटीसी इलेक्शन के बाद ही ये अलायंस का जो बाकी बात है ये आगे बढ़ेगा और 2021 में अलायंस का गवर्नमेंट होगा, ये पक्का है। ये अलायंस के बाद जब से आए हैं, इसीलिए तो बीजेपी का जो आसाम में जो बड़ा बड़ा मिनिस्टर है बीजेपी में, आसाम का जो
एआईयूडीएफ को लगता है कि अलायंस होगा। वी विल हैव टू वेट एंड वॉच। थैंक यू सो मच जहरुल इस्लाम फॉर योर इनपुट्स. Well, that's a different story. Of course, I don't want to digress from the BTC post right now. If I can go to Pritam Brahma Chaudhary. Pritam Brahma, do you think the accord, the implementation of the accord is the single most important factor in this BTC polls?
Yeah, I do believe that that implementation of the recently signed BTR accord should have been the main focus. The political parties should keep in mind that we need a proper implementation of the accord. Otherwise, if the accords are not implemented, then the secretaries, especially the arms group, the NDP protection of the NDP, we have come forward for peace negotiation by signing the border accord. They may again may go back and take up arms. So the political parties and those who are contesting the election, this BTC election this time, they should keep in mind that the implementation of the accord is also one of the utmost importance. Though the good governance and all-round development has been one of the key issues this election, but I do believe that the accord implementation should have been one of the key main issue the political parties should have taken up. But apart from only the UPPL and the BJP, no other political parties have spoken about the implementation of the accord during the campaigning process.
Dheeraj Barkataki, do you think despite everything, after 15 years of rule, anti-incumbency is something that everyone probably has to face, and that's why the odds continue to be against Hagrama Mohilari. However confident he might be, despite all odds, still he is fighting his back against the wall.
See, as I have already told that the major factor out here is the last 15 years of Hagrama Mohilari's rule has not really seen the development that should have been. You have to understand the political setup of BTC is such that it stands way above any other territorial council that falls under the 6th schedule in the northeastern region. It has been given so much of powers that if the council wished, then the development or the grassroots development could have been possible. But as we found out in our survey when we carried out in the BTC region, people were really, they were, I will not say they were tired of Hagrama, but the fact was that they wanted development. And as I told before, that there is a creation of elite, a category of people have siphoned off the concept of development. And here comes, as I told you before also, that BJP offers them an alternative along with UPPL. To implement the accord, you have to go back to when Narendra Modi came to the region. He announced a 1500 crore package, and from there came the hope that BJP along with some other political party, as Madam had just said, that a post-poll alliance might be possible. And yes, it might be possible. And there is nothing wrong in a political party going all out. you know, because it realizes that this is a very important election. And as I have told before, in no other states of northeastern region, when we have council elections under the 6th schedule, you know, there is so much of hullabaloo. You have to understand that this time the BJP is going all out, and at the end of the day, even if it does not achieve majority, it will be the winner.
Let us now very quickly listen to some reactions from some of the contestants, party leaders. Let's listen into what leaders like Pramod Boro, leaders like Govindam Basumatari had to say after casting their votes. Let's very quickly look into it.
99% আসন এই দুইটা ডিস্ট্রিক্টত UPPL পাবলৈ গৈ আছে আৰু সেকেন্ড ফেজত যেটো কোকৰাঝাৰ চিৰাং হ'ব চিৰাং জিলাটো 100% আৰু কোকৰাঝাৰ জিলাটো 99% সিট UPPL এ জিকিব তাত কোনো সন্দেহ নাই 17 বছৰৰ হাগ্ৰামা মহিলাৰ দুৰ্নীতি অপশাসন চন্দন ব্ৰহ্ম আৰু খাম্পা ব্ৰহ্মৰ চিৰাং জিলাৰ ৰাইজক প্ৰবঞ্চনা কৰা এইটোৱে আজি প্ৰমাণ হৈছে কি ৰাইজে খং উঠিছে দুখ পাইছে আৰু এইটো মানে লোকাৰণ্য হৈ পৰিছে আজি চিৰাং দিয়াৰ এই হাছৰাওবাৰী পথাৰত হাগ্ৰামা মহিলাৰী এখনো নাপায়
আমি সংগ্ৰাম কৰা মানুহ বহু বছৰ সংগ্ৰাম কৰিলোঁ জংঘলে পাহাৰে ঘূৰি বহু বছৰ আকৌ ভাৰত চৰকাৰৰ লগত আলোচনাত সময় কটালোঁ প্ৰায় 15 বছৰ ধৰি আৰু 15 বছৰ আলোচনা কৰাৰ পিছত ইয়াৰে সফল সমাপ্তি হ'ল 2020 চনৰ জানুৱাৰী 27 তাৰিখে চুক্তি কৰাৰ জৰিয়তে আৰু চুক্তি স্বাক্ষৰ কৰোঁতে মই ভাবিছিলোঁ মোৰ কাম শেষ মোৰ আৰু কৰিব লগা একো নাই কিন্তু ৰাইজে আকৌ নেৰিলে বা আকৌ নিৰ্বাচনত অৱতৰণ কৰিব লগা হ'ল মই এবাৰ আজি প্ৰাৰ্থী হিচাপে ভোট দিলোঁ আৰু প্ৰাৰ্থী হিচাপে যোৱা 10 মাহ ধৰি যিখিনি কাম কৰাৰ জৰিয়তে অভিজ্ঞতা হ'ল ইলেকশ্যন সম্পৰ্কে আচলতে ইলেকশ্যন আমাৰ নিচিনা মানুহৰ কাৰণে নহয় তথাপি ৰাইজে যেতিয়া বিচাৰিছে মই নামিলোঁ আৰু এটা নতুন অভিজ্ঞতা পাইছোঁ ৰাইজৰ হেঁচাত মই নিৰ্বাচন কৰিলোঁ আৰু নিৰ্বাচিত হ'লে নিশ্চয় জনসাধাৰণ সেৱাৰ কাৰণে কাম কৰিম
আমি বাক্সা আৰু ওদালগুৰি টোটেল মিলাই পেলাই আমি কমেও 16টা সিট আমি পামেই ইয়াৰ পিছত আমাৰ কোকৰাঝাৰ আৰু চিৰাঙত 19টা সিট আছে ইয়াৰ ভিতৰত আমি 15টা পাম 15 আৰু 16 31টা হৈ গ'ল মুঠতে আমি 30টা তলত নাহে
Clearly, Janki Goswami, this has been an election of rhetorics in a way. An election of rhetorics in a way. Hope it translates into action. But the BJP, it has gone all out to the voters. It has a big responsibility at hands now. Also, it has also put its prestige at stake in a way in BTR by the sheer scale of campaigning.
See, first of all, I would like to tell you one thing that the respected panelist there on studio, on the camera, he said one thing that even during the 2003 signing of the accord, the NDA had taken the initiative. And even this time in 2020, the NDA has again taken an initiative in signing the accord and bringing all the factions of the NDFB, the fighting factions of 4 factions of the NDFB together and made them lay down arms. Around 1,600 plus militants, they had laid down their arms and they had made an effort to come back to the mainstream, which is in itself a big it's not a political intent but a social intent of the BJP to bring a progress and development in the BTR region. And now secondly, I would also like to say that our leaders, our respected leaders whom he said cunning, I would like to rectify him and I would like to pinpoint that our leaders, respected leaders, Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal, our Finance Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, our respected party president Sri Ranjit Das, all of the leaders have been fighting day in and day out in the BTR region to bring about a change, to make the people realize that they too, need to feel the fruits of development that the other regions of Assam are experiencing. So what our party stands for is they are totally, as you said, they have gone all out. Yes, they have gone all out to bring in peace, development and progress to the state region of BTR. And this time, yes, definitely there's going to be a change because people are experiencing a wind of anti-incumbency as well. They want to get rid of the seeds of corruption and mismanagement and non-performance that have been sowed in the region of BTR since long. So this time the people are in a mood for change, and we will see that yes, there will be some positive development in the region of BTR.
Pritam Brahma, do you think the anti-incumbency factor will cost Hagrama Mohilari heavy this time?
Yeah, definitely it will have a big effect on the BPF because in the last 17 years of the BPF rule in BTC, though some development has taken place, but there has been lots of many things have been left out. So definitely this anti-incumbency factor will definitely have a big effect on the BPF. I believe so.
Well, it's almost everyone is agreeing, Dheeraj Borkotaki, that the odds are against Hagrama Mohilari, but can we really say BPF is down until it's December 12th?
Well, this is something very difficult to say, because we have to understand that this election is still open-ended. You know, BJP is trying to make inroads into the BTC region for the first time in such a manner that it has put all its resources into the elections. Now, having said that, we have to understand that BPF is also not a small player out here. It has been in the helm of affairs for the last 15 years, and hence we cannot count out BPF as long as the last vote is not counted. So it is not very easy to say which party will actually form the council out there. So we have to give time, but definitely as we can all see that there is a wind of change, as Madam had just pointed out, that there is a wind of change. As I told, that it might not be BJP. BJP might not get the majority, but it will definitely play a very important role in the formation of the council after December 12th.
Dr. Deepak Basmatari, whatever happens in the council polls, whichever party sails through or whichever party comes in coalition to form the next council, they have to be very alert, because the assembly elections is just around the corner. People will have the chance to judge them once again, and that is what one factor perhaps that makes this polls that much more crucial.
What I would say is that every major party has participated in this elections, have definitely an eye on the next year's assembly election. BJP has gone all out in this election, but their main focus, as I understand, is not winning BTC per se, but their focus is on winning the next year's election. And the road to Dispur leads from Kokrajhar. That is what is definite now, because it is not only the votes of say all the assembly elections, say constituencies, which will determine who comes to power in Dispur next year. But outside of, say, BTR region, there are about 15 constituencies where Bodo voters play a very crucial role in deciding the winner. And it is this constituency of voters that BJP has a keen eye on. And it is through all these calculations that BJP is taking a part in this. And actually what I understand here is that BJP here participating in this election is to test their strength, is to test the water here, how much they have been able to penetrate inside the BTR region, because this is an area which was not in their radar earlier. So after winning the 2016 assembly election, what we saw here was that rapid expansion of the organizational structure of BJP here. And they are going to just try it out here, how much it has borne fruit now. And what I would say here is that whoever wins this BTR, or what we call BTC election, for them, whoever is in power in Dispur and Delhi is very important. Otherwise, the implementation of this accord and question of development is not going to be that easy without the cooperation of the Delhi and Dispur.
If I
Having said that, what I would like to add here is that people are looking for good governance, and they are looking for the implementation of this BTR accord in letter and spirit.
Peace, development, implementation of accord, good governance. Well, people basically are looking for development and peace.
Just to add to what our fellow colleague had just said, that BTC for a very long time has seen the culture of violence also. Arms and ammunitions played a very important role, and thereby what happened, it destabilized the entire region. And a time has come now where we have to give an opportunity to a party which is going to take some kind of strict action against this thing, and probably we will have a party which will be strong in center as well as in the state, which will be able to govern the council effectively than the existing ruling dispensation.
Well, Janki Goswami, it's too early still to say, but well, the BJP definitely seems to be a factor in the BTC polls, irrespective of, even if it is not the single largest party. But do you think between the UPPL and BPF, whoever sails through, that could be the natural partner for the 2021 polls?
It's very difficult to comment now. See, with BPF, we had a pre-poll pact, and it is still on at the state level, as you can see. But regarding 2021, it is very early to comment. Again, as you asked about the BTC, forming a council, and whoever forming government and whoever supporting us, that also, it's very difficult to comment now. Let us wait and watch. As I told you, our leaders, he had mentioned a very objectionable word. He said cunning, and I would say our leaders are working very hard day in and day out. They are not cunning, but they are very foresighted, and they are very emphatic to understand the situation of the people there. They could see the suffering of the people there and how they were bereft of development. That is why the decision had been taken that BJP is going to fight it out all alone this time, and the BJP is confident to form the council, and BJP is also confident that the people of BTR are this time going to vote for peace, progress and development.
Well, we are running out of time, but very quickly we'll go live to Buxa, where our correspondent, our senior desk editor Joydeep Hazarika is live. Joydeep has been covering the council polls, the first phase of council polls, the whole day in Buxa today. Joydeep, what was the single most important factor that you noticed in polling? For the first time, there is no shadow of guns in the BTC polls. Do you think that was one major factor that was witnessed, and what was your other observations? Very quickly, Joydeep.
Yes, Nabarun, definitely. Today, the elections went by peacefully. Not a single untoward incident has been reported. After a long time, a BTC council polls have actually happened where no untoward incident has happened, and definitely the shadow of the gun was missing. People came out in large numbers and cast their votes, and definitely the need for a change or paribartan, as has been the mantra during these elections, was seen quite clearly. A lot of people came out. We talked with many of the voters. While many of them did clamour for a change, they wanted certain aspects of the administration as well as the system in the BTC to be catered to. Most importantly, they wanted certain sectors such as the health sector as well as the education sector to be looked into properly. And today, obviously, now that such a high polling percentage has been recorded in both Udalguri and Buxa, where there is a heavy presence of non-Boro voters, it is definitely a good signal for parties like the UPPL and the BJP, who are actually capitalizing a lot on the non-Boro voters this time. However, since this is only only the first phase, of polling, the next phase of polling will be equally crucial, because while this first phase saw a lot of emphasis being put on non-Boro voters, the next phase will see a lot of emphasis being put on Boro voters, because Kokrajhar and Chirang have a healthy majority of Boro voters. So yes, by today's outcome, UPPL and BJP, some of these parties can actually hope to win a lot of seats given the high turnout of voters, and definitely the fact that a BTC election has happened without any untoward incident being reported, all gone smoothly, and that too in the midst of the COVID
Absolutely,
pandemic.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Joydeep, for all those updates. Parivartan seems to be the word, seems to be the jingle in BTC, in BTR rather, and we'll have to wait for December 12th. Dheeraj Bhargava, you want to mention something very quickly?
I just wanted to say that we in the midst of all these, we had forgotten what our journalist just pointed out, that Baska and the other place, which is heavily non-tribal dominated. You know, what happened was Nabarun was one of the face. Today we have actually forgotten about him. This is how the BJP has penetrated into the region, whereby Nabarun is today a non-actor.
Good thing for the BJP, but again we have to wait till the 12th of December, another round of polling on 10th. But most importantly, polling has been peaceful. That's a very welcome development, and everyone, one thing is clear, the writing is on the wall. Everyone wants peace and development in BTR. Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you so much, Janki Goswami, Dheeraj Bhargava, Dr. Deepak Basmutari and Pritam Brahmachaudhary for joining me on Bottom Line. That's a wrap.